One, two, three. We want to welcome everybody today to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are mom and dad. Unfortunately, they had to go to a funeral, and so we're compensating. But however, we have a great guest, a fantabulous guest. His name is Brian JT Watts. Brian Watts, how you doing, sir?
What's up, man? I'm good. Just trying to live the life, man.
Yeah. Well, today's subject is very, very interesting. Charges dropped against driver who opened fire on I-95 in Miami. Now, this is how the story goes. The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office has dropped charges against Eric Popper, the driver who pulled out a handgun and shot at another driver through his own car on I-95 in Miami-Dade County. The road rage incident occurred in June 2021, but took a wild twist in January 2022. Dash cam footage from Popper's Toyota Venza was given to the media. Popper's attorney said the footage showed his client's actions were in self-defense. The state attorney's office agreed. In 2021, this is crazy, Eric Popper cut off another driver while driving to work on I-95. The other driver began tailgating and honking his horn at the 30-year-old. Popper brake checked him. The other driver pulled up alongside, and this is where the accounts diverge. The Florida Highway Patrol stated that other driver threw a water bottle. Popper claims it was gunfire, and he returned fire in kind. Whatever struck Popper's crossover SUV can't be seen on the footage. Eric Popper faced charges including aggravated assault and a firearm and a road rage incident. However, the Miami-Dade State's attorney recently dropped the charges against Popper. Well, Popper has told the media that he wants to move on. He told WPLG, in hindsight is 2020, there's always things we can look back and say we wish we could have done differently. Woo! After stating all that there, excessive force. What are your thoughts on this, Brian? This is wild.
You know what? Being a native New Yorker and knowing that traffic, road rage, and all of that is real. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not something that just happens in New York, but I think we've not perfected it, but we got it pretty good up there. You know, and there are people who do things. And when they say get brake checked, they mean he slammed on his brakes so that the guy couldn't keep, standing behind him, so he would almost hit him, and that would have been the guy behind his fault. So that's something petty to do, So when this guy rolled up on the side of him, I get it. But what I don't understand is if it's being said that a water bottle was thrown, was any water bottle found? If it was shots, were there any bullets anywhere on the highway? I mean, maybe I've been watching too much TV, but where did these bullets go? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's no bullets in Eric's car. If he was shot at, there's some kind of shell casings. There's something out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe in that person's car. Has the other person been pulled over? Have they been searched? Have they been detained? There's no story from them at all. But I do see this guy, Eric, shooting senselessly in his car through his own window, busting his window, and then just erratically shoot it. So I'm wondering, where is the charge for reckless endangerment? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're shooting like that, even cops know at a certain point you don't shoot at people. There's somebody in front of you. There's somebody on the side. Mm-hmm. He's shooting from the side to the front while he's driving. Mm-hmm. There's no way that somebody that untrained was that direct or that accurate with a gun at that point. So there should be, I'm not saying he should be thrown in jail, but I'm saying there should be at least some reckless endangerment, something, because stand your ground is for when you're in danger. Mm-hmm. But if this person is driving by after they've already shot at you, what danger are you in now?
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a great point. The whole point is that what's scary to me is there's been incidents of stand your ground where someone threatened somebody else and then felt threatened because they threatened somebody else. And then, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a real crazy thing here where, it's almost like driving while black. You know what I'm saying? Where I see some black people, I can just open fire on them. And to me, it's kind of scary because, like I said, stand your ground. The intent was if you feel threatened, a real threat, not, but however, it's turned into any kind of threat.
Right. Perceived threat.
Perceived threat, right? and those words are sometimes used loosely in a lot of these cases where, I could just go out and kill people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All I gotta say is, man, you just look threatening to me, Brian, and I'm gonna go off on you.
And that happened. That is not uncommon for me to look threatening to somebody. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go to a store and even in a suit, and people think because I'm black, they go, "Oh, I'm threatening." I'm like, what? I mean,
well, I mean, I'm shocked at it, and I haven't even gotten to the inconsistencies as far as how stand your ground has been used. But I'm amazed in this case that someone was allowed to be in pursuit, like in a driving stance. I mean, you're obviously driving, and you're shooting. I've never seen that with even a cop or an FBI agent, where you're just driving and shooting. So that means to me, and this is just my deduction, that that's not something you do.
well,
It's hard to have any accuracy just standing up shooting a gun, but to be driving and shooting at a moving target, that's very dangerous. On I-95, that is probably one of the most popular and just traveled roads.
I mean, what if a young kid would have been accidentally hit by a stray bullet, unintended target, and killed?
Or just my car. Just the fact that I'm driving by and you had a bullet hit my gas tank or my tire or anything. Or even, what about the things that are on the sides of the highway? Businesses, houses, homes, anything. It's not a fact of did something happen. It's the fact that that's reckless endangerment. People are being pulled over. In fact, in Florida, it's illegal for you to relieve yourself in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? If you have to go to the bathroom and you don't have nowhere to go and you have an empty bottle of water or something and you relieve yourself, that's illegal. So is that more dangerous than somebody shooting while driving? You know what I mean? There are things that are happening that we're not looking at the danger, and this guy is just getting off scot-free. Now, if it was self-defense, cool, but there is still a result of what your self-defense has done. If somebody comes up to me and tries to rob me, and I fight them until I kill them, yes, it was self-defense, but I'm still probably going to get charged with manslaughter or something because of, what ultimately happened. So it's a lot. I think it's pretty bad that this case is just being thrown out like this with this type of endangerment, because it's encouraging other people to say, oh, if somebody does something to me, feel free. I can just start shooting.
And in fairness to him, he says definitely he could have done it better. Would have not pumped the brakes. That's the first thing. I would have taken another tactic. Definitely tried to de-escalate a little better. Hopefully, Popper wishes that he would not have pulled a handgun in traffic. Now,
he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that he wishes he didn't do that part. And
he said, yeah. I mean, Popper wishes that he. Hopefully, right. Hopefully, you're right. Popper wishes he wouldn't have. But the reality is this: fear makes you do some crazy things.
No doubt.
And when your fear of people are always trying to get you, pumping into stuff, and Fox News pumped into the fear factor. They just recently we talked about it last week on Mom and Dad Talks. We got people just hating people for no reason,
right?
Because they're fearful and they're acting out of fear, not out of what you're actually seeing,
right?
Perception rather than reality.
They're making it like this. They're making it so that we're all in fear constantly, and that's the way that we react. And the truth is, we need to not be so hyped with the fear that the media is pushing and everything, because you cannot really think when your emotions are at that level. The logic and emotions are like a light switch. One is on, the light is either on or off, and so you can't really, most people can't do both at the same time. It takes a very savvy person to be able to be emotional and think at the same time. And it's kind of hard to do that, especially with something that's happening right away. The more that you practice going to your logical side when something happens, the more it will occur. But in this case, I'm saying I don't have a problem with him being scared and him doing what he did. I have a problem with the courts saying, oh, that's okay.
Because now it's going to prevent people like, next time I have a road rage incident, I feel threatened, I'm going to pull out my gun and fire.
Right.
And before we leave today, and you brought in a great point here, I just want to read this scripture for everybody. Genesis 6:11. The earth was so corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And I point that out for a lot of people that this was in Noah's time. God had destroyed the earth because of corruption. As you see right now, you got a lot of corrupt thought. People are always in fear. Someone's always out to get them. Look on the news and everything like that, right? Because corruption is just so abundant and everybody knows it's real. So now lies take place. You can't believe the truth. There's a lot of questions. But like I said, at that point in time, people get mad and angry. And guess what happens? They start having violence. We're not connected.
Right.
And that logical thinking doesn't take over. So like I said, I just want to point that out to people that, you know, when you have fear going over than what reality is actually doing in truth.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that happens. And then it gets out of hand. Cause like I said, he pulled in front of the dude on his thing and the dude got mad at him for pulling out because he cut him off. So then he threw whatever, a water bottle or shot, whatever happened. We don't know. And he just, I'm just going to pull a gun out because I'm mad because I cut you off and I stepped in my brakes and then you threw something at me.
The fact that you're prepared with your gun in your car is a problem for me.
You wanted to shoot somebody, and I think a lot.
I'm not. I can't say you wanted to, but you was prepared.
Yeah.
And it was like, how do you? The fact that you got your hand off the steering wheel and on your piece already is crazy. I mean,
you wanted to shoot somebody that somebody just gonna tick you off. You know, like gangbangers. Oh, don't be coming at me wrong today because it's gonna be your bad day. Because I'm mad.
That's a mess. That's a mess. And I'm not one to try to put a guy in jail or anything like that. But I really think that at least reckless endangerment, that would have made me feel safe about the situation because I actually visit Florida often and I drive down I-95. And so I'm like, you know, some of my friends that I drive with in Florida, they have road rage issues. They yell at people and all kind of stuff. And I think that's hilarious. But now it's a little less funny because you might get this dude shooting at us, you know, stop playing.
So the more that let's try to be better citizens, folk, and care about them and not try to do road rage. Try to respect traffic laws, and when a mistake is given, let's not try to heed to our inherent ambitions to give the middle finger or yell and scream or curse or pull out a gun and stuff. Let's try to be better citizens. You know, you can report to the police, and hopefully they can take care of it. That's what they're paid to do. And doesn't get out of hand with them either. But, you know, like I said, hopefully we do the right things as a society. The over excess stuff, just like I said, folks, that's how gangs get out of control. You kill one of my guys, I'm gonna kill two of your guys. I'm gonna kill three of your guys. And then this never stops. And then pretty soon you got a bunch of angry people just angry at each other when it started over because, man, I stepped on your toe. I'm sorry. That's all I could have said, right? Could have de-escalated. Anyway. Thank you, B. Watts, for coming on Mom and Dad Talks. Till next time, folks, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. And thank you again, bro, for showing up. Have a blessed day, everyone.
All right, peace.
Peace.